friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a more neutral eyeshadow look. Not fully neutral, but just a little bit less colorful than I generally do. I used the Hella palette from Untitled and the Melt Amor y Mariposas palette to create this eyeshadow look. If you'd like to see how I did it, then just don't go anywhere. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I generally upload at least 3 videos a week, all eyeshadow related content, so you may want to consider liking and subscribing. And in today's video, I'm also going to be chatting about my presence on Instagram and whether that's adding to or detracting from my quality of life. So just stick around and we will get going with this. Alright guys, so for today's look, I want to do like a green, brown, gold sort of thing. So I'm going to take the Hella palette from Untitled and use some of these grungy green and brown shades here. I might put this one on my lower lash line and just smoke it out a bit. Haven't decided. And then I have the Melt Amor y Mariposas palette, and in here I'm probably going to take both of these shimmers because they're both pretty and they're kind of close, but this one's lighter, so this would be the middle part of the lid and this would be the inner part of the lid. Again, not fully decided, that's just my working plan. So first I'm going to prime my eyes using the Glamlight Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. I don't know if you saw, but I recently did a primer wear test video where I was comparing this primer to the NYX primer, and what I did was a super quick eyeshadow look and then checked in at various times throughout the day to see how the eyeshadow was holding up on top of the 2 different primers. It was just an experiment to see which one worked better over the length of the day. And spoiler alert, Glamlight won, which is why I prefer it. But if you want to see that video, I'll card it above for you. I mean, the result was what I knew it was going to be. That's the reason I did the video, because I wanted to show others what I had discovered, but it was just more of a scientific way of getting there. Honestly, both of the primers performed relatively well. Even the NYX primer, which I knew wasn't going to be as good long term. The biggest difference was that over the course of 10, 14, 16 hours, the NYX primer started to kind of crack and fall a little bit, so the shadows weren't as adhered to my eyes as they were at the beginning, and as they were compared to the Glamlight primer, the NYX primer was allowing the shadows to sort of drop and fall onto my cheeks, and that eye just looked a little bit less tidy. It didn't perform badly, it's not like it's a terrible eye primer, but compared to the Glamlight primer, it's just not as good. So I'm going to start within the Hella palette. I've got a blending eye brush from e.l.f. This is round and relatively dense, and I'm going to take the shade Decay, which is the brown matte, and I'm going to start that in my outer corner and just place it where I want it to be. Now, Udin's eyeshadows perform best if you just place them and then blend out the edges. They don't move around a lot the way that ColourPop shadows do, for example. So you can't expect that they're gonna, shift and create this big wash of color simply by placing and then manipulating. You have to put them exactly where you want them to be. So placing this in the outer corner and then softening the edges a little bit. Pretty much keeping this on the lid space itself. I'm not trying to bring it up into the crease very much because I want to use another shadow there. And in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the fact that I've been considering, not decided yet, but considering taking a break from Instagram, and I wanted to explain my thoughts on this topic. Sorry, I'm gonna move to a different color. I might as well tell you what I'm doing. I'm gonna take a looser blending brush and grab the shade Moss. And I'm gonna use this on the very edge of Decay, just here, and blend this up a little bit towards the brow bone. This is going to be a secondary transition color because I'm going to go one lighter still. So I have a small business within the art community, and Instagram is actually my favorite platform for sharing and being inspired within that community. It's just a place where I see so much beauty and so much creativity. Same small blending brush, I'm grabbing the shade Underworld. I think I'll mix it with Rebirth as well, and just put this on the very, very edge. I never want to bring my shadows as high as my brow bone, so I just kind of work them into each other a little bit and fade into nothing. So Instagram is my favorite social media platform within the arts community because I think it's just an inspiring place. I see so much creativity and beauty, and I follow people who are doing what I'm doing only better, so that every time I go into my account, I'm inspired and I feel really stimulated to just sit down and do something creative and artsy for myself. It's a lot of fun, and Instagram has always been the biggest source of excitement for me within that world. But within the beauty world, I find it to be less inspiring and a little bit more overwhelming. I think perhaps it's because that space is so saturated. There's a lot of competition, and honestly, there's a lot of comparison. I don't know why I'm still touching this. It's like, I just keep touching it. I don't need to. I'm gonna take the brush I used at first and go back into Decay and deepen this up a little bit. Within the arts community, I find people to be very, very encouraging and really supportive. And it's not that I have not found that within the beauty world, it's just there are so many players. It's really an oversaturated market. I think there's a lot more emphasis put on looking a certain way and fitting into the, you know, the Instagram aesthetic. Like for me, it's just about the eyeshadow. I just want to do some fun eyeshadow and move on with my day. I definitely struggle with comparison. So when I see all these other people within the beauty community looking amazing and just stunning and gorgeous all the time, and that's not me, I feel a little more self-conscious. I feel like, well, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I should be putting more time into all these other makeup products and trying to bridge that gap a little bit, because I just don't fit in. It's just not a scene that was created for me. So because I struggle with that comparison side of things, I find that doing beauty Instagram is more stressful than doing Instagram for my small business. With a flat C or shader brush that does not have dog hair on it, I'm gonna grab the shade Tequila from the Mariposas palette. Anyway, so within the arts community, I find Instagram to be inspiring and lovely and relaxing and refreshing. Within the beauty community, I find it to be stressful. Part of it's because of the whole taking photos of myself. I don't like taking selfies. I don't like having my phone filled with pictures of myself. I want my phone to be filled with pictures of my children, my husband with my children, beautiful things outside. That's what I want my camera roll to be filled with, not pictures of myself waiting to be posted online. And again, I don't really fit in within that arena anyway. My pictures don't stand out on Instagram. They're not remarkable. The lighting's not great. There's just so much that's not remarkable about them. I have the shade Mesquite. This is a stunning bronzy sort of shimmer. It's beautiful. I'm just putting it on the edge of Tequila and then working it a little bit towards the mattes, and then I'll go back into the mattes and kind of help that transition. This is so pretty. I don't use social media to make money within the beauty world. I use it for my business. And for something that's a hobby, I don't think it makes sense to allow it to be a stressor for me. I have a lot of demands on my time, and we've had some new things come up in our personal life which are really making my life pretty full. And if I feel overwhelmed, the first thing that I want to cut out is social media, because it can sometimes add more stress than it's worth. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not rambling. I'm not trying to ramble. I actually made this video the other day and I edited it and I uploaded it and then I deleted it because I thought that I wasn't expressing myself very well, which is pretty standard for me, honestly. I tend to ramble. I'm taking not any additional product, just the brush that I used before, and tapping where the shimmer meets the matte to help them transition a little more. I'm not saying I've decided to cut out Instagram. It's just, with life being quite full right now, we have some things on the horizon, might be moving. You know, if I feel overwhelmed, I think that's the first thing I'm gonna pause, because that will be something that actually adds a little more stress than it should, instantly relieve. But I started Instagram in order to share my eye looks. I don't know. It's just something I've been musing over. And I wanted to let you guys know that I was considering it, so that if I do decide to take a break, it's not coming out of the blue. Now, this does not, as far as I'm concerned, in any way affect YouTube. I prefer the platform of YouTube. I enjoy the element of sharing and interacting and commenting with people. I feel like YouTube is a little bit more intimate, if that makes sense. It's not just a photograph. It's a video. You hear my voice, you see my expressions. It's a lot more relational, I feel. And I do enjoy YouTube. YouTube is not a stressor for me. It's not additional angst or anxiety or frustration. It's actually a bit of a release, and it's calming, and I think it's fun. I enjoy the filming process. I enjoy the editing process. I like YouTube. YouTube's fun. I'm going back into the Hella palette now to do my lower lash line. I'm going to take the blending brush that I used before, just pretty loose and a little bit pinched, so it's more of a line. I want to take the shade Moss and throw this on the entire lower lash line, all the way to the inner corner. So as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to focus on social media, it makes sense that I should focus on it within the realm where I have a business, because it's an actual business. I have annual fees, bank accounts, subscriptions, and dues. And if I'm gonna do any social media, which may be a stressor in my life, I should be directing those efforts towards my business that makes money and costs money, and I don't want something like a hobby to add stress. It's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned. Now I'm taking a smudger brush, and I want to take this dark shade. It's actually a dark satiny black. It's called Complete. It's not a shimmer. It's more of a matte with sparkle, so I guess a satin. And I'm taking Complete, and I'm going to sort of smoke out this lower outer corner and see how it looks. I might bring it in a bit more. I don't want to put too much of this because it's going to compete with the gold bronze shimmers above, because this is more metallic because of those sparkles. So I'm just putting it on this lower lash line right here. YouTube is a great place for me to have this hobby, and honestly, I don't have that many followers in my Shimmers and Silver Instagram account. I don't know that anybody would miss me. I do have one friend there, and she and I chat every couple of days, and she's the one I do a lot of the palette bingos with. She's super sweet, and we enjoy chatting back and forth. And I did talk to her about this, and she was like, no, I kind of get it, but you have to do what's right for you. And I told her a little bit more details about some of the changes in our personal lives, and she really seemed to understand at that point that, yeah, you know, sometimes you got a lot going on, and you just have to take a break from something, like something has to give. So I am not at that point yet. I've not decided to pause Instagram. If I were to do so, I would absolutely tell you. I'm not just going to go fall off the face of the earth. I would tell you guys with plenty of notice, probably a month or two in advance, say, hey, this is what I've decided to do as of this date. And yeah, just so that you know. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be affecting my YouTube. This is a smaller blending brush. I want to take the shade, yeah, I want Rebirth, the matte yellow. I was thinking about grabbing double-sided, but double-sided is, oh, look at that. Double-sided, it has a lot more pink in it, and I don't want any pink in this look. I would certainly tell you guys if I decide to do that. As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to affect YouTube because I really enjoy doing YouTube. It's not this huge time suck out of my day. I tend to do the looks early in the morning when my children don't need me, and I can get a lot done before anybody wakes up. Now, if you watched a video more recently, you'll know that I've been having some health things come up lately where I don't always feel great, and I'm trying to maintain my upload schedule of about 3 videos a week. If I don't feel well, that's certainly something which is affected, but I am doing my best to maintain that, and if at some point I can update you as far as what's going on, I will, so that you're not in the dark, but we're not there yet. Okay, there we go. That's pretty much the eye look. I love this little lemony yellow, and then it smokes out into like bronzy blackness. I think because this lemony yellow has more of almost a green hint, I'm gonna grab Underworld, which is a much more pea green sort of yellow, and I'm gonna put that right on top of Rebirth, just to make it a bit less bright. Still an inner corner highlight, a pop of yellow there, but not quite as springtime yellow. A little bit more neutral leaning. And I think just for fun, I'm going to take a very small pencil brush, grab the shade Fluorescent, and I will spray this. This is a shimmer. It's like a light limey green kind of shimmer, but always with more of a grungy undertone. I'm going to put Fluorescent right here on the inner corner lower lash line. Yeah, that's cute. It's just a little bit of extra pop with a slight hint of green at that very inner corner. There you go. That's the eye look. I think that's fun and pretty and not crazy, not wild, not insanely colorful like I often do, but I really just wanted to do a green, brown, gold look today. My entire outfit is basically this color. So this will brighten up the eyes a little bit, but still work with the colors. All right, let me find a waterline color and go off camera and finish everything up. Then I'll be back to close out this video. All right, guys, here's the finished look. I did not do a winged eyeliner. I just lined my upper lashes and left it at that. On my lips, I'm wearing a Burt's Bees lip shimmer in the shade Caramel, but it was a little bit too shiny for me. I didn't want it to actually be a shimmer. So I took the shade Decay from the Hella palette and I just dabbed it onto my lips, and that helped make them a little bit more brown and also more matte. And overall, I think it's fun. I have to be careful with this shade on my lips because it could look a little bit sickly, I think. A little bit too ashy. Maybe if I had more of a chocolatey brown. The problem is I literally own 0 neutral eyeshadow palettes. The most neutral palette I own is Limoncello from ColourPop, and that's more yellowy neutrals. I don't have any browns, and once in a while I wish that I did, because something like this, if I had a chocolatey brown, I could make this a little bit more of a better color for myself. Anyway, as a waterline color, I used two from ColourPop. I put a brown on the outer corner. This one's called Juniper from the Lush Life collection. No, from the Sandstone collection. And then I put extra frosting on the inner corner. I like to do two-tone waterline colors. It brings a little bit more oomph, and it's kind of fun. And that's everything. I think that the eyeshadow look is muted and subdued, but also very me, and I like how it works with my outfit but isn't too show-stopping. It's just kind of there, you're gonna notice, but it's not too much. So there you go. As far as social media goes, Instagram specifically, I have not made this decision yet. It's just something I've been thinking over. If I do decide to pause Instagram, these are the reasons why, and I'll absolutely let you know ahead of time. I also always put in my description boxes under my videos to check me out over on Instagram, so I would stop doing that. And again, I have no plans for stopping what I'm doing on YouTube. I find YouTube to be relaxing and fun. I really like engaging with you guys in the comments. It's just, I don't get that from Instagram as much. There are some people who regularly comment very supportively and encouragingly on my Instagram account, but if it's adding stress to my life, I don't really want to entertain that right now. So it's something I'm thinking about. Haven't made that decision. I appreciate you understanding. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today and for clicking on my video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see lots more colorful content on your timeline and the occasional more neutral look. And until I see you in my next video, I hope you have a great day. Bye!